I can't hear him. Sound is up.
Hello, everybody. How you doing tonight?
Welcome to Chef Night. We're glad to have all of you join us tonight. We are going to have mushroom feta couscous.
We are
And
gonna.
what's the entree?
Halibut.
Halibut. Amazing.
I figured why not.
Exactly.
And Papillote.
And tell us about that.
So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna learn a traditional or a classical French cooking technique. The one things that we teach on here are the techniques in the kitchen. This is one that you would read it and be like,
Oui.
yeah,
Oh, oui.
okay, right? So we've all been doing them for a long time, right? So papillote means to cook in paper. So translation, cook in paper. Okay, we're going to use parchment paper for today's purposes, but we've all done the foil pack on the grill, have you not?
So we've been doing Papillote.
We've been making papillote for a long time and never really knew what it was. We're like, got foil on the grill, it's good to go, right? Boom, done. So on the grill and in the oven are basically the same thing. They're steaming inside the pouch is what we're doing.
Okay.
Banana leaves is another good thing that you can do. You want to add more flavor. You could do it in a banana leaf. Those are a little harder to work with, but still
Same
feasible.
concept.
Yep, absolutely.
And don't they use banana leaves when they like roast a pig and put it underground?
When they're gonna make the traditional luau pokey pork, yep, they wrap all that pork up, a whole pig, mind you.
The whole
In
Wow.
the banana
banana
leaves,
leaves.
because it helps
Bury it.
with steam it helps add moisture. So it adds flavor as well, right? So you can also do your tamales in banana leaves.
Ooh,
If
that's
you want
a
to
good
add a
idea.
little flavor to that as well.
We might have to make some homemade tamales.
I'm in for that. I was actually looking
Wonderful.
up recipes for pita since we did the naan last time. I was like, no, how feasible is this? So I'll look into that a little bit more to see if we can't manage that to teach you how to make pitas in the comfort of your own kitchen.
And I went and got some pitas because of our last time, and I've been making some pita sandwiches.
Yummy,
Oh,
right?
they're so
Awesome.
good.
Well, I am really excited to get started tonight. Mise en place.
Mise en place, right?
What do
So
we need to have ready?
everything in its
Look
place.
at this.
What is
We'll
that?
come back to this later.
Brand new Yeti version for the writer team. All right, what do we have here?
So mise en place, so as you can see, we got some stuff, it's all going around. First things first, we wanna make sure that our oven's turned on to 400.
Wonderful.
Yep,
Got
we
it.
wanna make that preheated. We gotta use this guy over here due to our stacking ability since we feed a crew and you guys are at home with 4 typically. Unless you're the party house who does 2 parties at one time. So
Exactly. We could have some party house going on over at Trilogy.
thank you for joining us.
So
So what we got is we have mushrooms for our couscous, a little bit of onion for that, garlic for that. This is our papillote tray, okay? What we've done is we've gotten our halibut steaks, since they're not really fillets, since they are a good size. We've gotten them out of their package, they're thawed. I've compressed them. I have some paper towel in here, right here. I've compressed them with paper towel as well, so that we can extract as much moisture as possible.
got it.
For the technique we're using today, it's not too big of a deal because the moisture in the pouch is only gonna help steam the product and not run out of moisture.
Got
If
it.
these were still slightly frozen, you would be okay. I wouldn't recommend it just because of the cooking process. The outside is gonna cook a lot faster than the inside, but since we are steaming, we shouldn't have to worry too much about one piece of the fish getting overcooked and the others.
So if
not.
I'm watching and I didn't really thaw that out in time, what should I be doing right now to thaw that?
Keep it in the cryovac pack, put it in water, running cold water, they'll thaw in 10 minutes, less than that, super fast. Not hot water, because we don't want to start cooking the outside, which
Gotcha.
will happen, we don't want to do that. So we have these are all ready to go. The rest of our mise en place is the stuff that's gonna go inside of our papillote,
Papillote.
our pouch, right?
Mhm.
So we got some julienne onions, we got some cherry tomatoes there.
And you
These
only
are sliced
slice those in
tomatoes.
halves, so those are pretty good pieces.
Yes, so remember, when we finish our dish. As we're preparing our dish, we want to think about the presentation, how it's gonna be. If we dice this up, we would have little tiny tomatoes when we're done, because by the time it cooks, there'll be nothing left.
Absolutely.
The onion, we're gonna leave in a julienne in this cut as well, so it cooks in a good amount of time, but also there's a vegetable there.
In the dish, yeah.
Right, so we have our cherry tomatoes, we have our onions, we're gonna throw a little bit of calamatas in there and some capers.
Wonderful.
Two
Two of
and
my
then-
favorite things.
It's quite delicious flavors, right?
I love those two together. I think that's
Little
just a good.
fresh lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the salty and the brininess of it, plus we're gonna add a little citrus to help that lighten up the dish a bit. In our recipe, it does call for bell pepper. I missed my bell pepper somewhere, but that's okay. Another thing that you could use, look in your fridge. These is ingredients that we're gonna use. You can use whatever ingredients you want. So if you wanna swap out one for the other, relatively it's gonna cook fine. If you wanted to add mushrooms to your papillote, you would be fine doing so.
So if we did, for those of you at home, did they get a bell pepper? Did everybody get a bell? No one got a bell pepper. Okay, so no bell pepper tonight, but normally we would do it and cut it thin like this.
And we would keep it in
Okay.
this same size because we don't want to overcrowd the pouch.
Okay.
Okay, we want it to cook in the same amount of time, so we want our vegetables to be cooked in the same amount of time as our fish is.
Got it.
We don't want our vegetables to be soggy, we want them al dente, so we want them crisp to bite, but soft to chew, right?
Perfect.
So crisp to bite would be al dente, and then those guys will do the same, they're not gonna steam up too much, but they'll still have some body to it when you go
Right.
to eat it, right?
Right, just won't be mush.
So one thing that I was rummaging around and a great alternative would be
My carrots that I ate. Perfect.
carrots, okay?
Yeah.
So typically, we always have something like this in the refrigerator, right? So what we're
So we're
gonna
kind of making do with something we have, so if you guys want to substitute, or you have a bell pepper in your own pantry, in your own kitchen, throw that in, go get it, and let's add it in.
So what we're gonna do is, since our carrot's gonna take almost twice the amount of time, we're gonna wanna make sure those are a little bit different.
Makes sense.
Carrot would be a good choice to implement into this because it's gonna add flavor, right? It's also gonna add color, so the presentation of our dish is very, very important because we always eat with our eyes first. So we're gonna do these guys in like little shreds almost, so if you had shredded carrots, that would work fine. You could use cabbage, you can, I mean, basically whatever vegetable you wanted to. If you wanted to get into zucchini and yellow squash, you could do that as well.
So I love, this is actually, this might be our first challenge. Go in your pantry, go in your fridge. Everybody add something different and then take a picture of your dish and tell us what you added. So we're all gonna do
Challenge
something
accepted,
different.
I like
You like
it,
it?
I
We're gonna
like
do a
it.
challenge today. I love that.
So remember, when cooking, it's not just, you don't have to follow the recipe. The recipe is an idea, a guideline.
Right.
And you veer from it, your likes, your dislikes, your diet restrictions. A lot of us have diet restrictions.
Absolutely.
So if you know that, oh, I can't have this, but I can have that.
Or
Yeah.
you like something and you don't like something else.
Yep.
You might swap it for something that you do like, and now that we're doing this little pantry kitchen challenge, let's try something different.
This is one, not a lot of people like it. You either
Gosh,
like
I love
olives
those.
or
like
you,
them or you don't.
you don't, right? It's like a pickle, so you either like it or you don't like it. Some people absolutely hate them. But so in your pantry, not everyone's gonna have artichokes,
Mhm.
but artichokes would be a good replacement for the olive.
Oh, that's a good
It
one.
has that briny taste to it. It's a meaty vegetable, which means it's gonna add more to our papillote than just adding more onions. If you
I
like
love
a lot
that
of
idea.
onions, you can
So
do
you
that.
could substitute the olive.
With the artichoke and have
artichoke.
basically same, right? So similar flavor and we're trading one for the other. That's gonna be fun. So as you see, we have our mise en place set up differently
Perfect.
because as we build, it's easy to have all of our stations set and ready to go. So then that way we can build all of our papillotes at the same time. It's easier to build 10 than it is to build one. Sounds crazy,
Okay.
but
But it
the
is.
way that it works.
Okay.
So now we got that, our fish is ready. We're gonna get some salt and pepper. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna salt and pepper our halibuts. Yeah, we're perfect. Just a good amount, not too generous, all depends on you. If you want it to be saltier, go ahead. I would recommend holding off on the salt right now because these guys are salty. So this is gonna be our salt content. So all we're doing is just gonna give it a light little additive to help enhance our flavors. You wanna do both sides here. Beth, if you want to hit those with the salt and pepper while I wash my hand and get our Papillote station ready.
All right. Yeah, got ours ready. How's everybody doing at home tonight? You guys enjoying this hot weather? It's getting a
Not
little
too hot
warm.
yet, so not bad, but it
Okay, I
is,
still
it's
feel like
warming
it's
up.
getting warm.
It's warming up, there's no doubt about it. So what we want to do next is we want to get a nice big area that we can utilize all of our space, right? Like I said, it's easier to build 10 than it is to build one. It takes just about the same amount of time. So everyone has their parchment. We want to lay it out. So it says to cut it in a, like if you were to take it and to cut it into a circle, you can cut it into a circle. I'm gonna leave it square. I'm gonna show you two methods of wrapping the Papillote.
And again, it's another way to do it.
Yep.
You could cut it into a round circle, or you can do it how we're gonna show you today.
Yeah, because the principle of folding the edges over to make sure that it seals and sears. is what we're really looking for. So here we're gonna place our piece of fish right in the middle.
Oh, AC blowing.
It's all good. And then we're gonna, well, let's start with, let's do lemon first. We're gonna go lemon on there. And a little onion there. And this is as much as you want, or the least amount as you want. So we're trying to keep an equal amount, and we're thinking of portioning, right? If we have too many ends, it's gonna overpower what we're
Right.
doing. So just trying to be collective and with what we got going on. Carrots. Flavor, color. And this technique can go any style of cuisine that you would like. So if you wanted to go Caribbean, you could go Caribbean. If you wanted to go Italian, you could go Italian. If you wanted to go Japanese, you could go Japanese. So it's very versatile at what you can do. Once you get in here, all you're doing is modifying the flavors that we are putting in here
Right.
to maximize what we're doing.
So if you were gonna change some of the flavors and do something different, what would be something you might do to make it a little bit different? Just change out like the olives or?
Okay, so we'll
give
just
me an
take,
example.
we'll just take away the tomatoes and replace it with mushrooms,
Oh,
okay? We'd add ginger, a little garlic.
okay,
If we have shallots already cut up, we could add some of that. And then we would be adding soy sauce, sweet chili glaze, ponzu,
Okay.
sake,
Ooh, those
right?
are good
So
things.
different things. So we could
Would be
take
added
this.
to that.
Yep, so we're gonna add white wine and butter to this due to the flavor profile. We're kind of going a little Greek, a little Mediterranean, if I may, with the flavor profile we got going on. So yeah, it's endless. If you're gonna go Caribbean, you'd use, you know, your bell peppers. You throw hot peppers in there, and then you would season the fish differently. Your broth wouldn't be as light, so to speak, but having more pungent, strong flavors, clove, allspice.
I love that.
Lots
Just,
of cumin.
just like we do everything else, you can really change it up.
It's
So this is
versatile.
really the concept, and then you can make it your own too.
Yes.
Any questions out there? How's everybody doing getting this all put together? Is all of your fish thawed out? Everything chopped up, ready to go? Share with us some pictures, comments, anything in the chat box?
Could you grab me a plate, please?
Get some suggestions for the next couple of months if they'd like to put that.
Yes, we are looking for some recommendations, things that you guys want to see us make. So we'd love for you to put in the chat box any recipes, anything that you want to know how to make. We'd love to incorporate that into the end of our season this year, the second half of the year.
Well, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do that. This one, this specific one in this season was to say, hey, let's get a little more technical.
Right? I love that.
Let's learn some more technical things. This, like I said earlier, we've been doing this forever. We put veggies in foil and we throw it on the grill.
Yep.
It's something that we've done forever and ever. And if you don't, you should try it. It's delicious.
Yeah, it is delicious.
Plus, when it's hot, it's easier to not use the oven.
Much easier. And those temps are really starting to creep up there for sure.
It'll be, yep, super hot in no time. So being aware of the amount with the capers and the olives.
Right,
So
because
these
they're
ones are pungent.
Much,
These are,
yeah, salty.
yeah, and you wanna, so instead of us adding all the salt, we're doing it by adding the ingredients. Just like adding soy sauce or Worcestershire. You wanna remember, salt is only an additive for enhancing flavors, but if we're gonna use items, menu items or food products
Right.
that have those characteristics in it already, then we want to be mindful, so we're
And
not
not to put too much.
overdoing it.
I
Exactly.
totally agree.
Exactly.
All right.
All right, so now we need some of our duck horn saumon blanc,
Okay.
and we're gonna. If I'm correct, we need to add butter to these guys.
Someone was asking if you could use codfish.
You can use cod, so you can use any fish for this technique. We're choosing to do halibut just to make it a little more.
And something we haven't done.
Yeah, I think, no, because we did mahi mahi when we did,
Right,
when we
we-
crusted it with the
Yep,
macadamia
that was
nuts.
mahi-mahi.
Yep. Okay, so these guys, this is where it's gonna get a little tricky. When we're adding this, making sure that we're not gonna
Nothing's
go
dripping everywhere.
all over it, right?
You want to put it, you know what, I have this bowl. You set them in there, so you can then do the size.
That'll be perfect.
Okay. Give you a box.
Just before we do it. So what we're gonna do is make this a little bit easier for you.
So we're gonna set it in a bowl so that everything doesn't spill everywhere.
Run all over the place. So we're gonna wanna add a little bit of wine to this. And all I'm adding is about, well, maybe an ounce. We don't want too much. And we're gonna add a little dollop of butter in there. Olive oil if you'd like, either one.
Oh, that works great.
So, and these are about just shy of half of the tablespoon. Add a little butteriness to that. Soft. If you want to do, I'm gonna show you. So using, soy sauce instead of a wine or fish stock or chicken stock if you wanted. So the papillote is always used for delicate proteins, chicken breasts especially, fish, any shellfish, and lamb. So anything that's
Oh.
really delicate to cook with, this is
You put-
the
use
technique
this
that
in
would work best in there. It'd take a long time for beef or pork to get
Get
as
cooked, yeah.
tender
Okay,
as you're looking for, right?
all right, now the techniques.
So, two ways we can do it. The easy one, which is like you probably would see the foil technique. So we want get them here, and then we're just gonna go down. Making sure that we're getting a complete seal in there. Right? The technical. would be here. Okay. So you start on one side here, and then you just continue to fold over the edges. Completely sealing, so every time we fold it over, it's, yep, and it's completely crimping the next piece. That's tucked in there. So then you have a nice, hence the circle, right? So let's, it won't really matter, it's not gonna cook any different. So if you wanna fold that guy up there. And fold mine down,
The traditional way.
it's a little easier.
No, but easy. Although it's harder to look as you all are experiencing.
So when you hold the two,
Mhm.
as soon as you get the start, to fold over,
It's harder that looks like that little tear.
so getting that first crimp is really the hardest piece to it.
I can understand that.
So there, hold it like, so. Get these two, get all your four corners together,
Okay,
okay? And then go and from there, now hold it in the middle here. And then fold this side. So you're gonna fold that side, so that way you can get it started. And see once it's crimped, and then now you can fold it there, and then you can fold that side, yep. So make that seal good. And then you can make this side good.
okay, harder than it looks for me. He makes it look so easy.
I've done it a few times. It's the paper, right? So the
It
paper's
is
harder,
a little,
harder to work with than the foil. The foil bends and crimps and makes it a little bit easier to,
it totally does.
makes it a little simpler.
But it still works. Which way did you guys fold yours?
I'm gonna go with this way.
So is this why people shy away from it? Cause it's a little bit tricky?
Yeah. That's when you see it. Yeah, I don't know. There's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it'll be hard, but it's not too bad.
No,
You
as
helped
soon
me.
as you work it, it'll be okay.
Alright, so we've gotta throw our other four together, or how many?
Go for
Alright, we've gotta make a couple more, so we're gonna practice. How are you guys coming at home? Is everybody getting theirs all set up? Any questions?
No questions today?
No questions? You guys are quiet. Might need a little more lemon.
Two more, three more?
3 more slices.
Okay.
There were some questions on a text message.
We have messages, text messages on the chat. We're not seeing the chat box. You're not seeing any on
I
chat?
have a chat box, but, they asked about the codfish, there haven't any questions on here.
Anything else? Is that the only question?
Mark said that the adobo chicken lollipops he's made several times. Everyone loves that.
Yes,
okay.
those things were stellar, were they not? With that Thai, pico de gallo, man,
Amazing.
it was so good.
We're glad that you're making this stuff after
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
our events,
That's the whole purpose of it, right? Beth?
right?
I think everyone's busy folding.
Did you,
The
are there any
Papillot?
other comments in there?
Definitely. They're busy folding right now.
It's complicated. I know, I tried it. Can I just get rid of the rest of these?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, use them.
We did just have someone join last minute. I don't know if we wanna check them up a little bit.
Somebody just joined?
If you're just tuning in, we are in the Papillote stage where we are folding our halibut into our paper pouches.
And so we set the paper in a bowl just to make it easier because we're gonna put some liquid in there and then we're putting all the vegetables on top. And then getting ready to put the olives and the
Papers.
sheepers on.
So remember, I mean, in this application, less is more. We don't want to overcrowd it. We don't want to underdo it. We want to make sure that there's a dish inside of our paper.
Right. Something that's gonna all pair well together.
That's right.
And then we have the liquid. I'll slice those up.
Yeah. A little softer than we want it to
Yeah.
be.
So it's up.
It's all good.
Well, it looks delicious so far.
So try and start in the middle this time. And then work your way out. So if you're able to pinch the middle there and make that seal. Then it makes it a little bit easier for your next fold to go.
How are you guys doing with this folding?
Little trickier. Play almost seems a little easier.
Oh, the way you do it on the side?
Everyone doing good so far? Everyone ready just to throw their paper in the trash and throw it in the oven and call it a day?
We love a challenge.
Roxanne, is the pattern of the for the nerd.
Oh,
Good, nice
good.
red bell pepper.
What does everyone else add it? Any carrots, red bell pepper, what else did you add?
Any salsa? Anyone put any salsa in there?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Sweet corn. Sweet corn will work too.
Good suggestion. Did we do that?
We'll do that. then.
Garner.
So there we have our papillot.
Looks great.
Get those guys into the oven so they can steam away while we are making our. Go.
All right, might be time to pour a glass of wine.
Is that what time
While
it
we're
is? Is it
thinking.
what? Is it wine time?
So we're gonna have
Let's wind down, shall we?
our Sauvignon Blanc because it's paired wonderfully. We're serving the duck horn tonight. And let's see what we have. Has anyone ever spoken out the wine yet? I'm typically a red wine drinker, but every once in a while, I do really enjoy, especially in the summer, a lighter glass of wine. So the white is a good alternative. So cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to all of you. Cheers, chef.
Cheers.
Very good.
All right, so moving right along, we're gonna get into our mushrooms for our couscous. Slice. Since our couscous is our little Israeli couscous like this, not the bigger pearls. If they were bigger pearls, I would leave them the mushrooms in bigger chunks like this. But since it's smaller like this, we are gonna want to break that down to be a little more of a dice, just so that they're not so bulky in the couscous. We want it to be blended in there well and not have this guy and a little tiny couscous. Like that.
Right,
All right,
right.
so we're just gonna break these down a little bit. So the easiest way is basically to do your julienne cut. And then if you could stack some up like such, you could cut it in half like that. And then you just dice away like that, get nice little dices. So essentially pretty simple. If you're not as patient or technical as that, then you can go with my method. Doesn't have to be uniform unless you want them to be uniform, but as long as we're gonna get them as close to the same size as possible. Because they are gonna shrink as they cook, right? Almost half that size.
Absolutely. And interesting, is there a difference between the bigger couscous and the smaller
The pearl-
couscous, and why would you pick one over the other? Just-
Preference,
Okay.
doesn't
Flavors the
really,
same?
nah, yes and no. The pearls are gonna be a texture thing, so like mushrooms, people are gonna be put off by the texture of it, cause it's gonna be more gummy like a tapioca ball.
Ooh,
Okay, so it does release a lot of starch, but it is gonna be goofy in the texture. They're very earthy if you've never had couscous before. So it is a strong flavor on its own. So we really want to enhance that. This is a lot lighter than the pearls and a flavor profile.
okay,
Yeah.
good to know. Do you guys cook couscous at home? I mean, we don't really cook it.
I don't really do. I use it on my menus frequently enough because it helps break it up and it's a nice starch to add to a nice light delicate dish like we're doing today.
I
So
love
when
that.
we're working with fish, it's typically the only time that I do the couscous is to keep the meal as light as possible.
I like that idea. It's just something I don't think to grab. We'll do a rice or something else with it. Just
Yeah, and
typical.
so it's not as heavy as your rice, so that's the nice piece of that. All right, so we're gonna start the saute, get our pan going. Nice and hot. We're gonna use a wider surface pan for this process, because we're gonna be stirring it relatively enough, okay? Not consistently and not like rice, you're gonna stir for a bit and then we're gonna let it do its thing. This kind of like rice, but we wanna make sure that we're able to incorporate the couscous with the rest of our ingredients, have a nice cooking time,
Okay.
okay? So that's really it. This stuff's super quick, it's super fast. It's really pretty simple. Main
I love
portion-
that it says 5 minutes, because I would have thought it would be longer, but I like that. There is a product that's quicker.
Yeah, it's relatively quick.
Good to know.
And it'll hold fairly well. These ones hold a lot better than the pearls will. The pearls continue to release out the starch and they kind of get gummy, like I was saying. So they'll get a little goofy. But this will hold a lot better like rice, so then you'll just fluff it up.
Perfect.
So first things first, I'm gonna go a little bit of shallots. A little bit of onion. That's probably good there. So a shallot and an onion, these would be an onions, red onion, yellow onion. The shallot is a cross between the two. As far very pungent in flavor profile, so less goes a long way, like garlic. Garlic is very pungent, so if you use too much shallots, we use shallots pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Because the flavor profile is so much better than using just a red onion. Red onions you typically don't want to cook with. You can cook with them, it's fine. Typically a red onion you eat raw on a sandwich or a burger or something like that, in a salad, like a marinated salad or something. So we're gonna just get our shallots and our onions going. And we're not gonna go all the way till our onions are translucent. We just wanna make sure that we're getting a good cook on, because the mushrooms are gonna take so much less time. We're gonna need to get our dill. And our feta cheese.
Do you have that in there?
It's
It's in the right, like, second stuff, the other one is there. So it's better.
We got it.
So we'll add that guy a little bit later, more towards the done process. So we're getting some good caramelization here. We're gonna want to turn our heat down, so we're not gonna want to caramelize too much more. So we're just gonna slightly reduce our heat, so that way we're not extracting so much of the sugar from the onion. We're gonna add our mushrooms. The process, we're gonna get some of our fresh dill.
You know what we found interesting during this preparation for this event is we found it difficult to find fresh dill.
It's
I
one
don't
of
know why
those
that was, but
seasonal, I would imagine. I mean, like, it's like trying to find, pumpkin spice in the middle of
of the, when it's
July.
not fall.
Right.
It smells delicious though.
Let's give this a quick stir, and then we're gonna just switch out our pans in the oven there for our halibut, put one on,
Can we flip it?
we're gonna do one in the other one. So still maintaining a good temperature here. We're gonna add just a touch more oil so we can get that.
Am I just flipping from the top to the bottom?
Yeah.
bottom to the top?
Yep.
I'm not actually turning them around too. So they're opposite.
So you see now it's starting to release all that
Wow,
water from the mushrooms.
absolutely.
So we are gonna wanna cook that out a little bit, not a lot, but just some. We're still wanting to reduce that mushroom down and continue to cook those onions. No, that's bad. So we're gonna deglaze the pan once we're ready to go here, a little bit of white wine. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's good, right, yeah.
So the rule of thumb is, if you're not gonna drink it, don't cook with it. So since we're drinking with it, we're gonna cook with it, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
So that's one of the things about, the difference in the flavors.
Oh, that's actually a great point.
Yep.
If you're drinking it.
Well, these are great to cook with, mind you, because they're cheaper, they're relatively available. One bottle, it's typically 1 to 2 to 3 different recipes, so you're not hanging on to a full bottle of wine for a long time.
Which is why we do cook with the little ones, because we don't drink a lot of wine, so no reason to have a big bottle of wine.
Correct, so by all means, this is great for what we do. I love it, because like I said, it's effective, and that's what we want it to be.
Mhm.
I'm not drinking white wine, so that's out the door. Alright, so see how we got our mushrooms cooked down pretty good. We're gonna deglaze our pan with a little acidity.
And I'm really starting to smell
All the aroma.
all of the aromas
Yeah.
of this is really starting to come together. Are you guys smelling that at home too? It's amazing. We have some people that aren't mushroom lovers. If I'm not a mushroom lover, what could I add to the couscous that could be a substitute?
Your bell pepper, your onion, zucchini. Zucchini is
that's
gonna
good.
be a little tougher, but you just have to cut it smaller, that's all.
Okay.
You could add yellow squash. I would take the seeds out of both those because a lot of water content there. You want just the flesh, right? If we're gonna stay along the lines of what we're working with right now, add a little bit of carrot in there would be fine. You don't want to go too far. Remember, we have all those ingredients in there.
In there,
We're
right?
trying to take a lot of ingredients and blend them well together. That's what we're trying to do. So all I did is I chopped up our dill. That's why we still have some liquid in there. We're gonna want to get this going so we can bring out the aromas, the aromatics of it, right? We're gonna release the oils of the fresh dill to then now be
Absolutely.
into our couscous that we're doing.
I love the addition of the dill in there. I do really like dill. We don't cook with it very often, but I really enjoy that flavor.
It's citrusy alike, right? So it's kind of have a lemony note to it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's nice. So it helps really brighten up the dish.
Mhm.
Not next month, but for July, we're we're gonna be doing a Mediterranean orzo pasta salad with a roasted chicken and a pistachio tarragon pesto. So we're gonna take something and show you how to manipulate those flavors to get such a better
Right.
dish out of what we're doing. Enhance our flavor.
I love that. And I love that we just keep making it up. Always something a little different.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, right? So these guys follow your instructions. You don't know how to read instructions, just do the instructions because it's a little easier. Just go with what you know.
How's everybody doing out there? Do you guys have any questions? Anything in the chat box? Throw all your questions in there or just speak up.
Yeah, just
I have to go something.
Exciting. I'm glad you guys are joining us to try this together.
don't want to spill that all over your kitchen.
No,
Nope.
that's a cleanup
Baxter.
mess. Yeah.
Baxter.
Yeah, so is there any specific cultural dish that you guys are thinking about that you really want to have at one of our presentations? Throw your comments in the chat box. Why don't you throw that question in the chat box?
Some Moroccan chicken, some Caribbean jerk, braised ribs.
Or what have you had in a
Braised
restaurant
gets-
that
braised
you
gets
can
a little tough.
recreate?
There you go. That's what I want to see. You guys send me your favorite dish from your favorite restaurant. Let's recreate it and make it better.
I love that. Because sometimes you go have a dish and you have no idea how you can actually make that at home, and it seems like it would be complicated. So I'd love to see you guys add something in the chat box that you'd really like to recreate. That would be a lot of fun for us. Now we're gonna put this in here, stir it up a little bit.
Yeah, we may need a little bit more
A little bit more
of the broth.
of the broth. And how do you know? What's the indicator here? We know that obviously the couscous is gonna absorb it.
Yeah, so basically all we're doing is bringing it to a boil. And then we're gonna slightly reduce it just a little bit, and then we're gonna let it sit like rice. So that's how fast that is.
Okay.
Like you're making cream of wheat.
Oh,
So
got
very
it.
similar process. In the start of it, we want to make sure
Kind
that
of gives
we're
me that feel too.
we're
doesn't it?
stirring it up nicely. Because that's what we want. Like I said, if you can see, as the couscous cooks, it's gonna tighten up. And by us continuing to move the mushrooms and the onions and shallots around in here.
We want to do our market update?
Little
Oh, we have a
little
break.
oil in here, just so the oil's gonna help it not stick together.
Okay.
And then once it's done, essentially, then we'll fold in our feta cheese.
Oh. And you can see that you're seeing more of the couscous now, right? Than when we first put it in the pan.
Yeah, it'll like triple in size.
Okay. We'll do a quick market update and then we'll see it triple in size.
We will.
All right, Steve's joined us back for a market update.
Speaking of triple in size,
Well, tell us what you have to say today.
here's the deal, guys. Imagine you're looking at the general market out there and you say to yourself, I want to buy a home and I am ready to get a 7% interest rate. Exciting?
Not really.
No.
I'm afraid of the payment.
I'm afraid of the payment. And the problem is, homes today that are on the resale market are generally not in the best condition. So why would you buy a brand new home with a buy down on the interest rate? Now, just so you understand, a lot of people go, oh, well, you know, they buy down the interest rate. What does that mean?
It means that the consumer is going to have a lower interest rate because the builder is paying for that reduction.
Okay, so a seller in a resale market and a builder, which is a seller, in a new construction market, they're gonna buy down the interest rate, let's say to 5.5 from 7. that's gonna cost 10% minimum. So if the house is 600,000, that's
Okay.
gonna cost what?
60,000.
60,000. Now, how many sellers that have a resale home are gonna throw in $60,000 for the buyer to get a great interest rate?
But they're not,
They're not.
because there's not that much equity in the deal or enough money left over.
Or they wanna maximize their profits. Now, here's the other thing. If you buy that resale home, a lot of deferred maintenance, repairs. What people aren't thinking about is the possibility of a new roof, right? If it's 20 to 25 years old, the underlayment is going bad.
Mhm.
You buy a brand new home, it's under warranty.
Right,
It's energy efficient. The total housing expense is much less.
and
The
more
cost-
predictable.
Yeah, the cost of maintenance in your everyday life, predictable.
And that's what really is satisfying when you are looking, especially people that are buying something that are budget conscious. It's a great way to predict what your expenses might be for the next 5 to 7 years.
Absolutely. Now, for some of you that have kids that are in an apartment complex,
Mhm.
you got them out of the basement. Not that we have a lot of basements in Phoenix, but you got them out of the back
The
bedroom.
guest suite, yep.
The guest suite, right? They were never guests. Anyway, we can help buy them out of their lease and get them into a quick move-in. And today, the quick move-ins are the ones that have really good specials. And here's the deal. We're growing in inventory in the new
Yep.
home market. Remember back when we had a lot of inventory of brand new cars and you could get a great deal?
Mhm.
Same thing in new homes. So guys, consult with us, consult with Beth. She's the guru of real estate.
So if I wanna buy new construction, have a lower interest rate, and if you have someone that is in a lease, we can certainly help with that. And the easy way to do is just let us know what their lease terms are, or send us the lease and we'll do all the work for
You
you,
bet.
all the
You bet.
heavy lifting.
And some builders are paying closing costs.
Yes, so that is amazing help too. Cash throws cash back in your pocket that you thought you were gonna spend on purchasing a new home.
Absolutely better time to buy now than when the rates come down and everyone floods the market. If you
Absolutely.
buy a home now, when the market goes crazy, you're gonna get that equity.
Right? There's less competition right now,
Absolutely.
especially during summer. It's the better time to buy because you can get a better deal.
The market is hot. Meaning
The
it's
temperature.
hot to go out and look, but we're here to help you. And
Absolutely.
she has an AC car.
But you guys, let's get cooking here. And thank you all for Trilogy. We have a great presence here tonight. So we're excited to have you all join us again. And you know, we're in the neighborhood. We're always in the sales office. And then we have other builders here tonight. So
Fulton
Tom,
Homes, hi
Fulton Homes,
guys.
Richmond is
Love you
on.
guys, Richmond,
Yeah.
Heritage.
So thanks for joining, and let's get back to the kitchen.
Let's get cooking.
Well, now back from our commercial break. Thank you for the great market update by Beth and Steve Ryder. We're gonna get a little zesty.
Oh,
Okay.
zesty.
So we're gonna need some lemon zest. If you
Okay.
have a fancy tool like this is always the best. If you don't have a fancy tool, you can get away with this as well. And what you're gonna do is just peel. Be careful, because you don't want to get into the pith, the white. We're only wanting to take that off, right?
Only taking the yellow off.
Yep,
Gotcha.
so that's it. So once you get a little peel going there, then you're just gonna go ahead and get in and get your chop on. You're gonna wanna mince that because you're gonna want it to be as fine as possible. You could use a cheese grater. If you got a little box cheese grater, you could use that too. But we are gonna wanna make it as fine as we possibly can.
And does a little go a long way?
With the zest, yes.
Yeah.
So with our tool, you'll see
A little quicker?
the difference in the fineness of it. So the finer, the better for this application. See the difference?
Mhm.
Not too bad, that's not too crazy. The main thing is when you get it fine, you're not gonna take a bite of lemon peel, right?
Okay.
And that's what we wanna stay away from. If it is just this fine like this, then that way you're get the essence of it without taking a bite of it. It's like the garlic. You want to make sure the garlic's minced small
Right.
enough. You get a chunk of garlic in there that's
Yeah,
big,
no.
it's a little overpowering, right?
Absolutely.
So. All right, let's take a look at our.
See how we triple? Are we
Couscous.
triple?
Well,
Wow,
this one doesn't expand as much, but as you see from what
it
we
was,
started with, it expanded quite a bit, right?
absolutely.
So then all we're gonna do is give it a fluff here. How's everyone doing at home? You got any questions? So this finishes it up. We're gonna let this sit just another moment, and then we're gonna add our zest. We're gonna add our feta cheese to that. We're gonna take a look at our timer. We're at 3, 2, 1, almost 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for our timer.
And what was your timeline on each side?
I did 8 and 8, so 16 minutes.
Okay,
And the reason we swapped them is because halfway through, we wanted to make sure that we weren't overcooking one and not the other.
got it.
We could come over here, yeah. Because it'll be safer. We want it to be safer.
Oh,
There we go, there we go. All right. Make sure we turn our ovens off before we sit down and forget, and we eat, and then we don't.
always a good thing.
I thought you turned the oven off.
Got this.
So we're gonna go. What's our lemon zest in there? Gonna go with our cheese.
Sure.
This gets all into your preference, right? We'll start with a little less and then we'll see where we're at. So, and just lightly fluffing it, right? So just incorporating it to where you'll get some in there. You don't want it to be too much unless your favorite is feta cheese and you can eat it by the handfuls, then go right ahead and put as much as you want in there. But we don't want to overpower the other flavors, right?
Right, we want everything to blend and not just
Nicely.
have one flavor.
Correct. We don't want it to overpower the other flavors.
Gotcha.
That's what we're looking at. No olives, you can pick the olives out, you got it. We're gonna add just a little bit more here. No. Looks like a pretty good mixture there, wouldn't you
That's
say?
nice. Absolutely.
Where you'll get,
Good proportion.
you get a little bite when you get a little bite, right? Not overpowering. So then, we're gonna want to take our papillote.
This is our presentation.
Scissors if you got them, knife if you know how to use it. It's gonna be hot, so it will be steamy. Since that's the cooking technique we did in there.
Oh, that looks delicious. I love that it kept those juices in there and it's gonna be great, like a sauce now for the fish.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to maintain that piece, right?
Right,
I'm gonna slightly move some of this around.
kind of stack it back up where it
That's
fell
right.
down.
Presentation, right?
Absolutely.
Because we're gonna put our couscous right inside of there.
Oh, I love that, so they can get some of the liquid too.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
soak up some of those flavors. Like such. Where it needs to go. And our garni.
You know, we always like that little bit of heat.
Yeah.
Love that little red pepper. It's delicious. We're gonna come over here.
So like that, pretty simple, pretty easy, pretty straightforward, really. As soon as you master struggle on the paper, you kind of get it down, and do what you need to do. But then you can wow your guests with a nice presentation like
Wow,
that.
that looks amazing. How does all of yours at home look? Does everybody else have a package just like this, just for your guests? Thank you so much for joining,
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you so much.
It was such a great night, way to kick off the summer. We're really excited to have you guys all back with us tonight. And enjoy the next holiday. We've got, oh, and by the way, I'm glad you guys all had a great Memorial Day, and we have Father's Day coming.
Coming up, yeah.
So, next month,
Next month, we're gonna be doing salsa chicken lettuce wraps.
oh, that sounds
So
interesting.
little spicy chicken lettuce wraps, something to add a little more heat to your day, but also keep it nice and light. So that way it's not so heavy and you don't fall asleep other than the table.
I love that we kind of keep it light for the summer, because I'm always looking for something light to eat, because it's hot outside.
And you just don't feel like eating beef
Right.
stroganoff. That's just
Yeah,
all
it's
there is
the
to
wrong
it.
dish.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a great evening, and thank you for joining.
Thank you
It's
so
been a
much.
pleasure, and let's get cooking, and we'll see you soon.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.